Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And if you go in the bathroom and you turn the lights off and you look in the mirror and you say the Easter Bunny's name 3 times, you get pregnant. But do me a favor and hit that like button or you'll never be allowed to watch Shrek 2 on Blu-ray ever again. And we just spent a week carrying the Ozark Trail Axis Lock D2 knife. We call it the Dropout. You may call it the Wugout, you may call it the Ozark Grail, but Dropout is a name near and dear to our hearts. So let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't, and you know I love you. So, first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got the plastic scales that I'm assuming are either nylon or polypropylene, we're not sure. Pocket clip is reversible, we got our axis lock, and we got the thumb stud, so let's flick the stud. And 3.5 inches of D2 steel. So, I have the black one and I have the olive green one. These were a gift from Wilderness Bushcraft. Let's take a second to thank him in the comments for making this possible. No, seriously, if you try to find these right now, they are, again, impossible to get on Walmart.com or in most stores. I'm still trying to get the orange one to test out against the green one and the black one because there were differences between the green and black one. I keep checking Walmart.com. They never show up as in stock right now. I want the orange ones, and I ordered some. And FedEx said, yeah, you don't get to be happy. We're gonna say we delivered them, but we won't. I'm still salty. So, thank you, Wilderness Bushcraft. Again, you made this possible, and you guys have been asking me for me to check out the black and the green one, the version 2, because I have checked out Gen 1 extensively. So you guys wanted to see how this stacks up? We're going to find out. But, you know, the known problems with the black one was the lockup on this. The lock didn't go as far forward at full lockup as the black or the green one and the orange one did. The detent on this was incredibly strong. It was overpowering. That broke in. I carried it. I slammed it open and closed about 1,000,000 times. And now it centrifugal opens the way it should. The lockup is a lot better. The action is a lot smoother. It is on par with Gen 1. You can see the lock is sitting in the same place, so it's happy with that. And the other big problem was the factory edge. Now, I have talked to a smattering of people, a small handful, but everybody except one guy said that they had the same issues. The lock, the issues with the lock and the factory edge. One guy said his was fine out of the box, so most everybody I've talked to has had the same issues. So the factory edge, let's talk about that. Now the factory edge was in the high 350s whenever we did it last time, if memory serves. And, you know, I did the tests that I normally do at work. I tried cutting the plastic off of the pallets, and most edges, under normal circumstances, will cut through the middle where all the layers are just fine. No problems there. A great factory edge will cut through that plastic at the very bottom where there's one layer, like you're cutting water. An okay edge will start to tear. No, this thing tore all the way through. It was like cutting with a butter knife. I was kind of scared to push it too hard because I didn't want it to just break through and cut me somewhere. Again, cutting with a dull knife, nowhere near as safe as cutting with a sharp one, and that's a great example with it. If I wasn't being really, really careful, when I got through the plastic and it was free of the plastic, it was like push, push, push. So always carry a sharp knife and make sure you're still being careful with it. But I cut some cardboard with it. It didn't like that one bit. It was tearing and rolling, even in the best spots on the cardboard. I had to break down some large pieces. It was already cutting like the edge was devastated. It's not a good factory edge. And I tried to strop this thing out a little bit. I was on a different take and I whiffed that one pretty badly, so I had to start over. But I stropped it and the number got worse. Now, I'm pretty sure I knocked a burr off that was giving it an artificial sharpness, because we normally strop from the 300s down to the mid 200s, give or take, on most steels. D2 normally responds to a strop really well. This one did not. Pretty sure I knocked a burr off, but I'm not an expert. I'm still learning this stuff, so maybe I just did a bad job. I don't think I did. I didn't do anything different. But that being said, it would not do the cut test on the paper whenever I got this out of the box and started carrying it, but now At the very least, it's doing that. Now, that's not a great edge. It is having a hard time doing that, but it'll do it. We have got a much nicer edge on the orange one, the Gen 1. And you can see it's a much nicer, cleaner, easier cut. So, you know, I think this one tested at around 200 on the sharpness tester, but let's get the tester out for the black one. Let's get the tester out, and if you haven't seen this before, we have got this thing that is basically a scale, and it measures the amount of force you need to cut through the wire right here on this calibrated test clip. So let's get a test clip out and see how she's doing right now. Like I said, I'm disappointed that the number dropped, but I'm pretty sure I just knocked a burr off, which if you don't know, a burr will make it seem sharper than it is sometimes until you knock that burr off, and then it's like, oh, there's a problem. But let's take a look at this thing. 304. So I have gotten from 459 to 304. Looks like we actually did get it a little better where I tested there. Let's test a different spot. Because that wire, of course, you're only testing an area as thick as that wire. And I know that edge was an uneven grind on it. I could tell, like, just looking at the edge under the light real closely, you can see some areas where the grind was a bit thicker and rougher looking. Some areas where it was more in line with an 18 degree per side edge and looked a little bit cleaner. But let's see if we can get a different number. So we got a 299, I guess. Between the last take and the one before, I took my 2.5 micron strop and I did work on it for a little bit. So a good stropping will help. It looks like I did a good job on that. I didn't test it after I took the 2.5 on it and really worked it a little bit. But that's what a good strop will do. If you're trying to maintain your edge, occasionally strop that thing out. It'll help you out more than you realize. And of course, post-sharpening, you want to knock the burr off. Invest in a good strop. Now, one thing that's interesting is I bought 2 clean brand new strops. One of those strops is going to be for 1 micron and 0.5 micron just to see how fine I can get that edge. Another one is going to be strictly for diamond emulsion, just to compare the diamond emulsion to the Hood Rat Temu diamond paste I'm using. And according to one guy in the comments, Temu diamond paste can't possibly make a knife sharper, it can't possibly strop, and I am wasting space on YouTube. Props to that guy. But, you know, it helped out here a little bit. Obviously, we got better numbers than we did the first time before I carried it. It just took some work on that and a bit more effort than I thought it did, which I'm happy to see. You know, normally D2 will respond to the strops pretty well, and we can get numbers, again, like, if we really put time in it, get it from the 400s down to the 250s. So that was a quick strop just to touch the edge off and knock a burr off. It looks like it did a good job. Going into Cardboard Slayer, I've got a feeling we're going to have to stop and sharpen pretty much immediately, as bad as the edge was starting off. We're kind of learning how these things go, and if we're starting in the 200s to 250, we can usually get a decent run. We start off under 150, we get a great run. So I am planning to stop and sharpen pretty much immediately, and we're going to check out how long a new edge holds up. We have the olive drab one, the green one, to check out on a factory edge. That edge was a lot better starting off. But, you know, we know this thing right here did 7 hours of testing, which that's a whole different thing. I'll explain after the fact. We use cut time. We use cut time because counting every cut's unmanageable, and it's good enough for the girls I've gone out with. This thing did 8 hours with a brand new edge on it. D2 normally does 5 hours with a brand new edge, with brand new 17 degree per side edge. And then this thing did 7 hours on the factory edge. D2 normally does 4 hours, like clockwork. We don't know why it did that, but we are comparing this to this, and we're comparing this to regular D2. If I get 5 hours of testing on a brand new 17 degree per side edge that is nice and fat and laid back like this one is, I'll be happy. That is in line with D2 with a good heat treatment. If we go past that point and get another 7 hour performance out of it, I am going to be shocked and well pleased. So we're going to find that out a bit later tonight on our edge retention testing. But I wanted to share what carrying this thing was like before we did a Cardboard Slayer with it. And I can't think of anything else to add to the experience. I've covered everything I wanted to. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments. I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. Love it or hate it. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.